the agency who represent me. You know, and then there's another thing that's interesting about that. I also am a part of a case when back besides when I was working at UPS, I you know ended up losing my job and.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I remember you. I think you had made the news too because you had a rollover accident, or your truck had flipped over or something in the snow.
Yeah, I made the first. I made the my vehicle along with me modeling. I was a UPS driver at the time as well, and I had one accident where I got T-boned and the truck literally flipped on the side, and I didn't get hurt in that accident. Then a couple of years later, I was driving one of their vehicles and. I put it in park. It came out of park and it rolled into a ravine, and then they terminated me on that incident and wasn't able to get my job back, but I ended up taking them to court and stuff like that. But
and winning.
well, yeah, they end up
settling.
They settle. Yeah, they settle. They most definitely settle. And I'll never forget the conversation that I had with one of the attorneys, and the attorneys was like, "You're going after the wrong people. You need to go after the union who represents you. All we did was fired you. They're the ones that should have upheld your job." And and so what I did was I went and got an attorney, and we ended up pursuing both. We ended up going after UPS and the union that I was with at the particular time. And we went through the litigation with UPS and my attorney. We took a settlement. I didn't like the price of it, but we ended up settling a little bit of something. But my attorney didn't fill out the paperwork on time for the union. And you can see that briefing on Google. They got Demetrius versus the Teamsters is what it is. You can Google that. So I'm in Google for legal reasons and for my my hobby, what God has blessed me with as far as my acting and modeling.
That's what's up. We how can I say this? I'll just say it. You know, we the black sheep. I hate to say it. We are the black sheep of the family or whatnot.
Yeah.
I'm black sheep number. I think he might be black sheep number 1. I'm black sheep number 2. Cause we used to get into so much trouble in our youth. But look what God has done. You know what I'm saying? We still here. We still striving to get to our goals or whatnot. And we was able to make it out of that bad situation down there. I wouldn't even call it a ghetto. It was totally mad. It's like where we stayed at, it was like a third world country down there. You know what I'm saying? This is back in the day when Leaking Gardens was around. And just imagine being poor and you getting picked on by even poorer kids. Have you ever even heard of a thing like that? I wouldn't even say poor. I ain't saying nothing bad about mom or dad. We just didn't have a lot. And we was getting picked on by people that had even less than what we had.
Yeah, we most definitely, we grew up in so it's 13 of us, and I talk about that in the book. Again, get this book. We were the poorest in our neighborhood. We were the poorest in our neighborhood, and in my immediate family, I was the black sheep. You know, I love my mother to death. I love my father, but there were some issues going on, and I was the least favorite of those 13. And today I actually still get counseling for the experiences that I went through when I was younger. Mental health is a big thing, y'all.
Oh yeah, mental health, man. Mental health is everything. If y'all need anybody to talk to, make sure you call your counselors or whoever it may be. If you ain't feeling right, talk to someone. You don't have to take your own life. Talk to someone before you make that step.
Yeah, one thing my counselor, I call her a diva. She's a 70-something-year-old Caucasian white woman, and I love her to death. And one of the things she told me was, audience, you may want to pay attention to this. She said, black men has the toughest time or plight in this country. We have the toughest in this country. And for her to be a Caucasian woman, that is my therapist, and I'm glad I have her. To say that we brothers, y'all out there, y'all suffer in silence. It's good to talk to someone, and you'd be surprised how they view us in this world. They know we're going through some things. So going through just being a black male, being 13 of us, and being the least liked in my own family when it came to the parenting part. You know, I understand it was 13 of us. So I was the black sheep of the family, but you know, the black sheep are the changers.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and I was a black sheep for other reasons. I stayed in trouble.
We both did. Ooh,
I just couldn't get out of trouble. I don't know if we can talk about this or whatnot. What about that incident that you had down there in Lincoln Gardens where you had to defend yourself?
Oh my God, he brought that up. He brought that up. Stay tuned. But anyway, so it's funny. So there's a guy. I'm name dropping today because he was a friend of mine, still a friend of mine. Actually, his name was Darren Story. He's in the group Low Key at the time. But Darren used to come down the house and play with me, right? And kind of rough me up a little bit. Yes, Darren Story from Low Key, good guy. Telling everybody's all the time. He stayed in the same neighborhood. He stayed right up the street from me. The group is called Low Key. His name is Darren Story. You can hear the music, that great music. And Darren Story is one of the guys in the group. He used to come down and play with me and stuff. So he used to rough me up, and I used to chase him around the house with everything, bottles. So I used to crack the bottles and chase him around, and so I got to learn a technique of something that ended up being vital with the incident you're talking about. So one day I was on Vine Street playing a video game, and I remember the guy wanted to play the game, and he kept pushing me, and the handle came out, and he pushed my hand, and the handle cut me. So he was bigger than me. I just told him to stop, leave me alone. He wouldn't leave me alone, and guys were edging him on.
As usual.
And so I walked away from him. He followed me outside and stuff. So at this time, the technique that I learned from the guy who chased me around the neighborhood that we was playing, I got a bottle, and I broke the bottle. I told him to leave me alone, and he pushed me against the car, and he swung on me. But that by this time, that's when I just kept stabbing him with the bottle, edge of the bottle, and I never forget the blood and stuff that fell, and that's all I remember. And I remember, so the end result was, I think I stabbed him like 5 times, and I got arrested, went to juvenile, and the only thing I remember is my mother going in front of the judge and saying that it was self-defense, you know. And that's something that I still get hunted by that. I am still get hunted by that experience, man. But at the end of the day, we were kids, and I just sent out an apology to the guy in our local community for that. I mean, you know, I didn't.
Y'all was kids.
Yeah, we were kids. I most definitely. But yeah,
I mean,
had an attempted murder charge. They charged me. They charged me with aggravated assault or something like that, and attempted murder as a juvenile.
I mean, but every action comes a reaction.
Yeah.
You reacted. So.
Yeah, I was defending myself at the time, and it was self-defense. They dropped it self-defense. I remember standing in front of the judge. My mother was scared to death, and I was able to go home. You know, but I think, you know, just, you know, that's a part of the plight. But that neighborhood was a lot of that.
Boy. I can just imagine what Mom went through, going to court with you all the time. And next thing you know, I started growing up. The next thing you know, she going back and forth to court with me. Yeah, God bless her soul. You know, I stayed in trouble for years. You know, I stayed in trouble. That was just the environment that we grew up in. But shows to tell you that you can grow for nothing, stay in trouble, and make a decision to change your life and be an international model. Yep, in our hood, man, where we grew up, you either survive or you die.
Yeah, it's survive or you die.